Hey hello everyone, I'm Bruffy1322 and welcome to another iRacing video and the final round of the season that I was able to do. But obviously it's been a while since this all happened, so this was now last season. And as you can see, I didn't get off to a very good start, getting a black flag immediately because I saw the leader go, I went, and I forgot that I couldn't overtake before the green. So it was just a bit of a messy start. I got a black flag drive-through penalty. Maybe the Lightning McQueen car will take a few people out for me or something and I can not make it too bad of a loss. So obviously that was my hope, and that is actually kind of what happened. Not necessarily him, but there was definitely a lot of carnage in this race. This was the top split of the race for this round, but it was my first race, so I felt like I had decent pace, but I could also go a lot quicker based on the fact that I qualified in 13th, but I also felt that there was a lot more in the tank because it was, you know, the first race I'd done. But obviously that move at the start just messed me up completely and I was way behind everybody. But there was a number of laps during this race where I was the quickest person on the track, or almost quicker than everybody else. And yeah, I'd managed to catch up to this one person and managed to get the move done there. I think he also probably had some damage from what I could see after the race. But there was craziness going on throughout the entire race, and ultimately I ended up back in 13th, which is where I qualified, just by keeping it clean, having some good pace, making that one overtake on track, and everybody else just crashed out. I think there's going to be... No, there isn't. There's going to be one more lap. Damn it. I was hoping there was going to be two. I might have been able to do it with 2 laps. I'm quicker than so many people when you look in the top left. Holy moly. Oh, there's been a crash. Have I gained a load of places? I'm suddenly in 13th? I'm so much faster than this guy. I needed another lap. One more lap and I think I would have had him. That last lap of 43.333.
Ticket flag, ticket flag.
My optimal is now into the 42s. Well, I've definitely improved my lap times. If I'd set this kind of lap time in qualifying, I think I would have been like top 5. So the pace has definitely come on in that race. I was so quick. I was like faster than the majority of the field ahead when I looked in the top left. I wonder what happened. Rip. They have the same livery. Are they like friends or something? He literally just took out his mate. I didn't notice these two. Oh, he turns him around. He just disconnected. I'll take it. Free spots. At this point, when I knew I had to do my stop and go penalty, I literally said, I just need the Lightning McQueen car to take a lot of people out or something. And then the next thing I know, he was in the pits. I want to see what happens. Oh wow, that was a big crash. Oh, maybe that's why I was quicker than the other guy. Oh, okay. Okay, it wasn't even his fault. Was it though? Did he move over? Let's see. No, that's on the recovering car in the white. What a mess. I skipped through all that because I was in the pits. Well, it was only the smallest of iRating drops at least. No instant points. God, this guy had 14. He was so close. I got lucky with all those extra overtakes at the end. Oh, he got Oh, that's why he didn't disconnect. He got disqualified. Too many instant points, I guess. Oh yeah, 17. He was seemingly bumping and barging everybody. Alright, well, I've improved my best lap by a significant amount. There's a 42 in there, which would put me in top 5 of top split if I can put it down. This video is brought to you by my real life racing series. Catch up on all of my real racing exploits with the link in the description, where you'll hopefully enjoy what have always been some of my favourite videos to make. So that very tiny iRating loss from the first race and the huge amount of people racing here has put me in second split. I think I have pace to race with sort of the top 5 of top split as well. So it's kind of a shame I haven't got the chance to be up there and give it another shout. So only a tiny loss of iRating in that first race, and still sort of on the fringes of 2000 iRating, which is an iRating that I've never had before. So that was kind of a secondary goal, but ultimately, I was fighting for the Division 5 championship with this one, and my goal was to just get as many points as I could to have a good fight for the championship. Now, this second race was a little bit of a shame that I was in second split. I felt like I had really good pace. That first race was ultimately an extended practice session, but I'd got some really good pace from that, and I felt very, very quick. So it was a shame that I wasn't able to utilize that in another top split race, and I think I just missed out on the top split in terms of obviously the splits are based on your iRating, and that tiny iRating loss that I had in that first race, it was enough to put me into second split. So for this second race, I was obviously much further up the grid. I qualified in third, and I managed to keep third throughout the first lap, but then I had a little bit of a wobble, and it was a really weird couple of laps early on where I just didn't feel comfortable at all. I just could not settle into the race. And obviously that you can see that the front two have gone at this point after that little mistake I made with the oversteer coming out of one of the last corners, and I am being pressured from behind, and it's not just this one car that's behind me, there's a train of cars behind me. So my job now is to try to settle in as best I can, but it's difficult to do that when you're also being hounded by someone trying to overtake you. So yeah, it was a difficult moment this, and there was a couple of laps, I think we came onto this where obviously this was the closest, but there were actually a couple of laps where I was really struggling to settle in. The guy behind makes a slight mistake here, and that allows me to sort of get a tiny bit of a gap, but more importantly it allows the people behind to start pressuring him. So I sort of pull out, so I don't want to give him the slipstream, and then I'm able to take the normal line into the hairpin, and he starts to get pressured by other cars behind. He goes, there's a car that goes for an overtake up the inside, and they start battling, and ultimately that was perfect for me because it allowed me to get away. And as you can see, by the end of the race, I've managed to really reel in second place, so I managed to settle down, really put in some great lap times, and I've caught right up to second place with, I was catching sort of every single lap, but it was just too little too late. I'd lost enough time early on with my little bit of a wobble and not being able to settle that I just couldn't catch up by the end. So again, it was encouraging to get a third place, decent points on the board, and it was also encouraging once I'd settled down that I had some really good pace. It was only the leader that was quicker than me in this race, but yeah, just missed out a little bit. I probably could have had second on pace, but still a decent result, and certainly a lot better than the 13th from the first race. Those last 3 laps were all 42s. Well, I mean, every single lap was... It was the first 3 laps. As soon as I got lap 4 onwards, 40-0, 43-1, 43-2, 42-8, 42-9, 42-7. It was those first 3 laps. 97 points is a good amount of points though. Oh, and I'm so close to 2k iRating. Holy moly. As much as I probably... Do you know what? Those 3 laps at the start that caused me such strife in this race, that basically cost me second place because I had the pace for second. Those 3 laps didn't just cost me second in that race. They only cost me an extra 5 championship points, but I think they also cost me 2k iRating. This is the highest I've ever been though. But I'm 5 away from hitting 2k for the first time. It's all going to come down to this last race. Like, I think I'd have to get pretty lucky to get more than 97 points. And if I do, it's not going to be many. Like getting second and getting 5 more, for example. So I am going to do one more race, but it's really only going to be about whether I can hit 2k iRating or not before becoming a dad. Pulled it out of the bag on that last lap. .43.1 is good.
Checkered flag, checkered flag.
I'm happy enough with that. You are not telling me that's 3rd place on the grid. Holy moly. I've gone from 3rd place in second split to 3rd place in top split. I mean, I'm almost at 2k iRating. I'm around people who all have 2k or higher. Like, this is where I feel like I should be. So let's do some racing. So, for the 3rd and final race of not only this round, but my entire season, because baby 1322 would be born just after this, so I wouldn't be able to do any more of the rounds for this season that I intended for this championship. And I had to sort of make it count. I didn't know it at the time, but yeah, this was the last chance I'd get to add some more points on the board from a championship perspective. We're back in top split, so my iRating gain from the previous race had done enough to get back into that top split, and amazingly to myself, I'd qualified in 3rd place. Considering, like I said, this is a top split race. This is an entirely different field of drivers that you would say is of a higher quality. Yeah, qualifying in 3rd place, I was again. I think this track suits me well. I always seem to go well on this track, and obviously this was one of the last races of the season where I'm pretty used to the car as well. So yeah, qualifying in 3rd place, I felt like I said during the first 2 races, I felt like I had good pace, and I had good pace towards the end of the 2nd race, and I was able to put that to good use for qualifying, at least for this 3rd race. But again, just like the 2nd race, and it's amazing how similar they are, because I qualified 3rd for both races, and pretty much at exactly the same moment, I also had a bit of a wobble here as well, where yes, I was battling for 2nd place initially, which was all well and good, but it's never really going to come off around the outside here. There's obviously a massive train of cars behind as well, and I just I backed out of it because there was no way that was going to work. And then I had another wobble from sort of this point on, where I was just it kind of sunk in. I wasn't fully focused on battling for 2nd place anymore. I was instead realizing that, hey, I'm in 3rd place of this top split race, and now I need to actually race the whole race. So I wasn't really doing too great, as you can see, getting a bit of oversteer in a few corners, and it was amazing how similar it was to that 2nd race, almost an identical point in the race. I just couldn't settle in those early few laps, and that's something that I can hopefully work on in the future, because yeah, it kind of cost me in both of the races a little bit. So I've put the perspective of the driver behind up in the top left, so you can see what's happening from his perspective. But yeah, it was just a case of I just wasn't accessing the pace that I knew I had, and now it's exactly the same situation as our 2nd race, where I'm being pressured from behind quite substantially, and that then also stops me from settling into the race. You're having to defend your position, you're having to think about where he is, when he's going to attack, where he's going to attack, things like that, where you're quicker, where you're slower. If you get a bad exit out of a corner, then you're thinking about where he's going to try to overtake you. And yeah, it then that makes it much harder again to then settle into the race, because you're not able to do what you want to be able to do. He comes around the outside of me here, which I assume wasn't going to pay off, but he manages to keep his nose in, which again is a little bit, he was quite far back, but then he just sort of drives through the corner and hits me a little bit. And I feel like in the past I would have just given up here, but I didn't. I decided to get a better exit out of the corner. Well, I thought about, I should be able to get a better exit out of the corner because he was on a compromised line going into it, and I'm able to get the position back. And that was sort of a bit of a change, I think, from what I've done in the past. I was feeling, even though I was having a little bit of a wobble and I wasn't settled into the race, I was feeling confident about my pace in this car, on this track. There you can see the little hit that happened, but I didn't give in. I feel like, in the past I would have been like, this is a top split race, these guys are all ranked a lot higher than me, I'll just give that up. But I didn't. I went back and I took that position back, and that kind of made my race, because just like what happened in the second race, again pretty much a carbon copy, the guy behind will make a small mistake and it will become a battle for position behind, and that will allow me to scamper away, and you'll see that over the course of the next half a lap. Yeah, it's amazing how close, how similar these races were. The second race and the third race, they were completely different splits, but obviously I had an almost identical race in both of them, where I had that initial early wobble and early inability to settle. Had to defend my position even more so in this one, and actually retake it after losing it for that third place, obviously fighting for the same position in both races as well. And this is where he makes a little bit of a mistake, again exactly the same as in the previous race. He just has a little bit of a oversteer moment. Completely different person, obviously all of these are completely different people from that second race, but it's amazing that the same things basically happened. It's like a big deja vu moment. He makes a mistake coming out of that, and then I'm going to leave this footage in because obviously it's the TV footage. I'm going to just show you the kind of time loss that you experience when you're battling with other people, because you can see obviously he was right up behind me when we went into that corner, and then you're going to see in a lap what difference this will make in a single lap, how much I'll be able to pull out in terms of a gap, because these are now all battling with each other. You can see that big train. And at the time, you saw me sort of go over to the other side of the straight because I didn't want to give him the slipstream, because I wanted them to all start battling with each other and I didn't want to allow him to just stay ahead. And that's exactly what happens here. And at that point, I don't know what it was, but it's exactly the same in that second race where I got a little bit of a gap. I wasn't suddenly being hounded by someone behind, and my pace came good. That was where things clicked, and I was able to put down the laps that I knew I could, and the pace that I'd been showing in the previous races and in qualifying. The only problem was that those first two laps where I'd been struggling to settle had already lost me a lot of time to second place in the race. But as you can see, great racing action that we're watching here with all of these guys behind, but they're slowing each other down so much by battling, and that's just the nature of it. That is what happens. But you can see, even just in the case that from along one lap, I've gained a massive amount by just being able to get away. And as soon as I saw him in my rear view mirror have that little oversteer moment, I was like, okay, I gotta go now. And you can see that gap, how much it has extended, and that set me up for the rest of the race basically. So they're all in a big train behind, they're all going to continue to battle, but just like the previous race, I was able to pull away from that battle that happened behind, not get caught up in it. And just like the previous race, I was also able to start catching up to second place, to the point where by the end of the race I'm right up behind him again, exactly the same as what happened in that second race that we just saw. It's amazing. I basically just had a carbon copy race from one to the next. The exact same things happened in the same positions. It was kind of crazy. And yeah, by the end of this race, only the leader was quicker than me. So again, this is top split, so we're talking about the best drivers who were on at this time. Only the leader was quicker. You can see it in the top left, how those green numbers basically mean that I'm quicker than everybody except the red number for the leader. And I was really getting some good pace at the end, and it was just, I think ultimately it was a little bit of a shame that it took me a few laps to settle, because I think second place was possible in terms of my pace in both races. But this is a really, really strong result I've obviously won the top split race earlier in the season, but that was when there was not as many people around for that race. This was a very highly populated round and a very tightly packed, high strength of field top split, and I managed to get third place, and arguably I was, one of the top 3 fastest drivers throughout the course of the race, and that, battling for second place in that kind of situation, it gave me a lot of, a good feel, but also a lot of confidence going forward. This is the last race I'm going to do in the Toyota. I'm going to go to the Mercedes GT4 whenever I get a chance to race on iRacing again, whenever baby 1322 allows it. And yeah, it's given me confidence that I can do this, I have the speed, and also a bit of a breakthrough because, as you'll see, this is the race that puts me over 2,000 iRating for the first time, and that's kind of like a special moment, I think, to hit that 2,000 mark. It's quite difficult, and I've been on the verges of 1,900 for a long time, and considering I started this season at sort of 1,300 back at sort of starting iRating, it's been a great season, and it's probably been the best season of iRacing that I've done in these little Toyotas. I think I've done really well, and I'm really proud of myself, honestly. That's amazing how that was such a carbon copy of the previous race. Wow.
All right, there's checkered flag.
2K iRating for the first time ever. As soon as I settled into it, I was pulling away from all these 2.6, 3.7, 2.1, all these high K iRating guys. Pulled in on second place again. This is where I should be, man. I'm glad I had the confidence before this. Because a few months ago, a few years ago, I would have been like, okay, I don't deserve to be here. I'm mixing in with a load of high iRating guys in top split, and I would have crumbled, especially when I got overtaken. Even my laps were scarily similar to the previous race. The first 3, well, it was the first 2 mainly on this one that were a bit bad. The third one I got a bit quicker, and then I was setting 43s, and then the final 3 laps were 42s. That's identical to what happened in the previous race. Chasing down second place in third after fighting off a lot of cars behind that then slowed each other down. That's crazy. There it is. 2,079 plus 84. I finally hit 2K on the iRating for the first time ever since I started this game, like, what, 5 years ago? Albeit very sporadically on the game, but 2K. Third place. Another podium in top split. 122 points. Damn. It's been a good season. 2K hype. Yeah. 2K hype. First time ever. It's crazy. Yeah, there was 10 splits, look. So, I think there was 20 people. So that's 200 people doing this race today, this session. And I finished third out of 200 people. That's essentially what that means. Which is kind of crazy. And I wasn't out of my depth or anything. I deserved to be there. If anything, I deserved second. That feels nice. I've got to hold on to that and enjoy that. So when it comes to the sort of final championship positions for this Toyota series, obviously based on the way iRacing handles it, they take the best 8 rounds, which for me got rid of that third round with the 77 points. I would have tried to improve on that 79 points in the final round as well. I didn't do round 9, so I missed out on the last 2 rounds because obviously I had a newborn baby and couldn't do any iRacing, but a total of 752 points is actually, pretty strong, and I was really happy with that. And when it comes to the championships, I did win the Division 5 championship by a quite substantial amount. It was by quite a lot of points over second place. I was in the top 100 overall for the Toyotas, and I was the only one in Division 5 that managed to break 700 points. So I would have won the championship even without the extra points I got from this round, but that just solidified it, and I think allowed me to get into the top 100 as well overall. So yeah, a really strong season. I obviously won the Division 4 Touring Car Championship a number of years ago, and now I've followed it up with another championship with this Toyota, obviously Division 5 this time, because my iRating was so low at the start of the season. But it's always nice to get a little certificate, and it's always nice to set your sights on something and succeed at it and do well. And I feel like I've improved so much throughout the course of the season to be hitting new heights in iRacing, and hopefully I won't have lost it by the time I get back to it. So yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed the season. Sorry it's taken so long to wrap it all up, but yeah, hopefully you've enjoyed this full season of, or almost full season of Toyotas, and I look forward to getting back into it again with a GT4 car next.